Hello everyone and welcome to another history video. So today we're taking a look at a food chain combo deck in history format. So food chain is somehow legal in historic, and I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a very good chance that the food chain will become banned in historic. So there's a couple of food chain decks floating around at the moment, and this deck on the other hand can potentially combo with just the Recruiter Guard if you have the food chain down on the battlefield. So obviously if you've actually been following historic, the Sigardian Evangel and the food chain combo can go infinite, as in you can generate infinite mana, and you can also keep playing the Evangel and sacrificing the food chain and then play it again, things like that. But in order for you to attack with the Evangel, you need another card, such as the Imodane's Recruiter. So you would need to either tutor for this card using another Recruiter or just have it in your hand. So technically you actually need double tutor spells or have Evangel in your hand and a copy of a Recruiter to tutor for that card. And by the way, even if you don't have, double Recruiter, as long as you have one Recruiter or an Evangel, you can just create a massive board on the battlefield for your opponent to deal with. So it's not the end of the world even if you can't kill your opponent immediately, but especially in best of one, or you're playing against other combo deck and then you really need to win on that turn, this is where this list can actually give you that edge. So this combo has been brought up by XF, and basically if you have the food chain down on the battlefield, you can combo it with a single Recruiter of the Guard. So what you can do, you play the Recruiter, float the mana using food chain, and then keep doing it again by searching more Recruiter of the Guards, and now you're generating more mana. At the end of the Recruiter of Guard, you can even go Phantasmal Image to copy another Recruiter of Guard, and then by sacrificing Phantasmal Image, you're actually going to get 4 mana instead of 3 because it treats the copied card as if it was mana value of the copied card. So now that you've been floating mana, the last Phantasmal Image into the Recruiter of Guard grabs the Ranger of Eos, and this card can search for a Mockingbird and the Goblin Bushwhacker. So now you can sacrifice the Ranger Captive Eos to generate more mana, but this time around, the Mockingbird is going to copy the Recruiter Guard. Now the Recruiter Guard can finally get Sigardian Evangel, then you can basically sacrifice the entire board to play a bunch of Evangel, which will accelerate this process, and then you can keep playing the Evangel on the battlefield and then sacrificing itself to generate a surplus of mana, and at the end of the day, you can sacrifice the last Evangel to the Goblin Bushwhacker and kicking it at the same time, and this will basically instantly win you the game, and this all happened from a singular card, which was a Recruiter Guard. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some History Best of 3 to show you guys what the deck does. So let's hop on there. Alright, we're starting the Historic with the food chain deck. Our hand is actually a bit questionable, I would say. Can't cast 3 of our cards here. Ouch. Oh yeah, the Super Shredder. You know what's funny? When I was playing Super Shredder, I was saying how like the first week everybody's just going to misplay, but here I am, giving my opponent free counters, Here comes the 1-card combo. They were just going to... Oh no, the Super Shredder is gonna trigger every single time. It's going to take a while. But here's the combo. Ranger of Eos. Copy the Recruiter into Sigardian Evangel. And tap down everything, and we win with the Goblin Bushwhacker. Yeah, that's the one-card combo. It's a way you can kind of win the game, like, immediately with a single Recruiter instead of, needing, like, a Recruiter and another card. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, it looks like opponent kind of pieced out there. I think we have to sacrifice 2 more times. No, actually we have to sacrifice another 2 more times. We need 7 creatures on the battlefield with the Bushwhacker, right? So now we have 7 creatures, and we just have to sacrifice the Evangel. And then we kick it. Boom. There we go. Right, so we're playing against this kind of deck. Seam Rip. The Haywire's there for like Chalice effects, Poor Orb, if they play it. I don't think they do. Black and white. Maybe a Belmerk. Yeah, Belmerk. Potentially Reanimator. Jurina's not gonna help with the Toxic Deluge, but Jurina also has a exile target graveyard effect. Dismember potentially. I think we can maybe take out 2 Juggernauts. Maybe the Esper Sentinel hasn't been too great either. So like 2 copies out. We're going second this time. Maybe we can take out a land. Starting town. Or actually, let's go down on a Cavern of Soul. 2 more cards. I think I'm just going to take out Dismember. I'm gonna be honest with you, I think opponent actually pieced out after seeing that combo. Yep, there they go. Right, I think that's a mulligan. I think I'll keep this one. I'll start with the Esper Sentinel. Guardian Evangel. And I'll go with the Juggernaut here. Okay, so it's this kind of deck. So these are lands. Alright, This is kind of a bummer, actually. So they have an Elish Norn, which kind of stops our deck. So I think we actually have to take care of that. That gets rid of, like, all the enter the battle effect triggers. So, yeah. Almost missed out on the damage. Guardian Evangel. So the problem with going the recruiter here... I wonder if I can win if I Guardian Evangel this turn. So I deal 4 damage, opponent goes to 11. And I Extraction Specialist, Guardian Evangel again, and then get rid of a Teamer and attack again. I think I'm actually gonna do that. The opponent's at 11. Kiora. And they're probably gonna play another creature here. If I can draw land, I can actually play Guardian Evangel again. 6, 8, 9. That's not enough. Oof. It's actually not enough. Opponent's at 2. If I do that, Extraction Specialist into other Guardian Evangel. I think we have to kill the Kiora here. Since I can't kill them.
Just gonna slip away.
Oh, another Kiora. No. Okay, opponent paying was good though. That's a good sign. So we actually might win the game here, potentially. Unless opponent goes off somehow. They have a large discount, right? Okay, that's a good sign. So we block anyway, since that's going to make our... this creature attack. So they have 3 blocker. They can block 1, 2, 3, and then they take 3, 4, 5, 6, and they're dead. Alright, so we want Fragment Reality for this card. I don't know how many copies of Elder Norn they play. I feel like most lists won't play more than 1 copy, but who knows. So Jarina. The Exile effect I feel like is very irrelevant. It's going to matter like in very few cases. Like if they play a 6-mana card and then they can't play it again, might be able to get them with the Jarina, but I don't think it's that good. Esper Sentinel is also kind of like not that good, in my opinion. Let's go. That was without the combo too, which is kind of cool. Halfling. into a Blazer. Wow. Didn't expect that, actually. Yeah, didn't expect that. Nothing. Sentinel. So opponent's hand's a little bit slow. I'm thinking maybe I go... grab the moon. Okay. I think I'm just gonna do that. Moonbliss Cleric for the food chain combo. Interesting attack. I feel like we block. We're gonna put a food chain on top. Oh, right. What is going on here? So, Glory Bringer. I don't think we care about that card too much. I think considering that they don't have Nykthos. Nah, so they play the Trailblazer Outcaster 1, 2, 3. I think we should get rid of a Teamer Battle Crier because this is going to come out next turn, right? Since we're about to combo next turn, right? So, okay. Beautiful. Plains and Inquisitor. I guess we'll do that. I'm not sure what opponent's playing. Could be some sort of like a tax style deck. Into a portable hole. Wow. That's actually absolutely insane. Look how this is about to tap. Like, my god. Absolutely redonkulous. Oh, Brutal Cathar. Okay. Willing to trade. I think opponent's playing a mostly creature deck, so... My god. So they have a Felia and... Wow. It's kind of annoying, actually. Hmm. I think we should get rid of a Reprieve. Since that one draws a card. We're honestly kind of in a bind. As I say that. As I say that. Alright, so we're gonna play the food chain. This is going to get Aven Interrupted. And we're gonna play this again next turn, and then we're gonna win the game. Unless the opponent just magically drew another Reprieve or Aven Interrupter, then... yeah, that'd be kinda bad. Excellent. We can even Juggernaut Peddler first. Alright, Containment Priest is actually not gonna do anything. So we just kind of win the game here. Again, this is a one-card combo. We're using the Recruiter of Guard a bunch of times because it saves time. Eventually. Eventually. And we just win with the Goblin Bushwhacker. $15 power. Yeah, because all the 3-mana cards become basically 2 Evangels, it basically saves you clicks. So we have exactly 21 damage, and... I mean, discounting the Bushwhacker, that is. Oh, never mind. I keep forgetting about the Bushwhacker giving +1 damage. Right? So we actually needed only 6 creatures, right? Right? 5 creatures, that's 20 plus... Yeah, we have 22 if we do 5 creatures. So we can sacrifice the 6th copy of the Evangel to the Bushwhacker. Which will basically save us a lot of clicks. I'm thinking kind of like... I did actually kind of like the Peddler though. They have Aven Interrupters and things like that. What do we get rid of though? That's the thing about combo decks, like, you don't really know what to cut. Like, we can't cut these because they're part of the combo. I think it has to be like something like that. Yeah, Jirina. I feel like the food chain is a little bit too powerful though for historic. I'll take my wild card, please. Please ban it. Alright. We are missing a tutor spell. We are missing a tutor spell. Alright, seems like a Felia coming down. Or potentially like a reprieve. We might actually have to crack the Echoing Cavern before we try to resolve a food chain. No, Brutal Cathar. Fragment Reality. So they have a High Noon. I'm actually surprised opponent decided not to, you know, resolve the High Noon. Which is a bit weird. I think my plan is to, take away the Aven Interrupter and the Fragment Reality the High Noon. And I might actually just, Fragment Reality then. They're not gonna play it, really. I mean, I see what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to transform this. And I'll play the food chain. Unfortunately, I actually don't have a sacrifice target. So if opponent actually draws a land, they can play 2 cards and transform the Brutal Cathar back into the other side and then exiling the Juggernaut Peddler, which is kind of bad for me, but we'll see here. The Containment Priest comes out. The problem is, okay, so they're gonna Felia the Juggernaut Peddler, right? The problem is, I feel like if they had a land, they would have just played the High Noon. I don't know why I just gotten rid of a Echoing Cavern instead of a Cavern of Soul or something. Alright, So it's another Brutal Cathar. Oh, it's an Esper Sentinel. No. Our draws are so bad. Our draws are so bad, actually. No. So how does this work? Okay, so it works the way they want it to. Oh my god. I think we're kind of dead. Yeah, I think we're kind of dead here. So we would need to draw, basically, we need to draw a 3-mana tutor spell, and we win the game. Because I can tap 3 like this, and then take 1 damage from casting the Food Chain, and then Cavern of Souls, and tap these 3. So I don't have to actually tap the Mana Confluence to win the game. Man. Pretty rough, isn't it? How are we so unlucky? We flooded to hell and back. Insane. Alright, we have a fast food chain again, but we're still looking for, you know, Sigardian Evangel or Recruiter of the Guard. Yet again. Phantasmal Image is kind of cool because I can steal opponent's creatures. Like Brutal Cathar. The same thing's happening, just like last game. Where we draw only the food chains and lands. Alright, so this is Velia. Speechless. Speechless. Right, potentially like an Aben Interrupter coming out. It's not like we have anything to do anyways, even if the food chain resolves. Hand is pretty bad. Ranger BOs. Ranger BOs can get a Mockingbird and an Esper Sentinel. It's only on a creature. How do they have 3 copies of Reprieve just back to back to back? How is my opponent doing that? Dismember, that's pretty good. It's actually kind of wild. I think I still have to take the damage here. So they have another Aven Interrupter, it seems. Actually getting kind of farmed right now. We might actually die. Yeah, we actually might just die. Okay, Path to Exile, so food chain cost 0. So I'm gonna take a Mockingbird and Haywire. Alright, let's just play this out too. Why not? There's a Path to Exile. We drew all the plains and forest, so... Dear God. Oh, there it is. It's a Guardian Evangel. But we can't technically combo, but it's still good enough, I think. Unless they have a board wipe. Yeah, unless the opponent has a board wipe. I wonder if they do though. I mean, if they have a board, if this last card is a board wipe, it's not bad for us. So I copy the Brutal Cathar. And then do we get rid of a containment priest first before the brutal Cathar. Then we get an Avexen Pilgrim. I don't think that's too good of an idea, actually. What to do? Let's say they board wipe. I'm just thinking about whether or not I should use this Mockingbird. Yeah, I'm not really sure if I should use the Mockingbird. Because if there is a board wipe, like a Wrath of the Skies, then I would need to Fragment Reality our own Brutal Cathar. Because the Containment Priest is already on the battlefield. Okay, opponent just surrenders. I guess it wasn't a board wipe. Alright, we have a Moonblessed Cleric with the Sigardian Evangel. No way to ramp though. So I feel like this setup is gonna be a little bit slow though. That was actually pretty unlucky. I shouldn't have actually played the Cavern of Souls first. I'm guessing this is a Reanimator? Tainted Pact. Stern Scolding. I guess we get rid of a Tainted Pact. Let's see if they wanna counter this. They do. So they just found another counter spell. We're drawing kinda bad. It was a consider. It wasn't a counter spell. Why didn't they just Sauron's Ransom? Okay, so I think we just get Moonblessed Cleric. Try to work towards the combo. Oh, they play the Juggernaut. Okay. Sure. We top a food chain. So opponent has 6 mana. Take the damage. Let's try to cast the food chain. Change the equation. Four cars, 5 cars in the yard. I feel like we just give them the counter spells. I think they're looking for like removal spells anyways. So we just give them counter spells. And then try to win the game next turn. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we're 1 off. I should have just cast the Ranger of Captain Bios then. I should have actually thought about that. Instead of the food chain. I mean, if they didn't have a counter spell, we would have won there. Yeah. Path of Peril. Okay. Could they have not cleaved there? Do they have to let that go? I can't kick this ever, so... I'm just deciding between a Mockingbird or double Esper Sentinel. I think we just go double Esper Sentinel here. So let's say I play Esper Sentinel and opponent decides to steal it. Then they can block with the Ranger Captain, block with the Esper Sentinel, and if they get rid of this, it's not bad actually. I wonder if I should just Phantasmal Image here. So even if they draw a removal spell, they're still dead. So this will force a remand. Oh, it was a Snapcaster Mage. Into a Stern Scolding. The opponent's still dead. Unless they have another blocker. What I just wanted to prevent was a Archmage Charm on my turn, and then draw 2. So that potentially, like, if they get Tainted Pact again, like, we can prevent them from winning the game. Okay, so stock up. So Fatal Push actually doesn't kill anything. It has to be like a Dismember. No, Dismember still kills them. Yeah, I think opponent's dead. Okay, so we're playing against a counter spell heavy deck. We're gonna have Mai. We're gonna have Thalia. I guess another copy of Jarina. We are gonna go down on... What do we actually go down on, though? These are good. Kind of thinking maybe a Phantasmal image is unnecessary here. Maybe double Epics and Pilgrim. Moonblast. And maybe cut a land. Not sure how I feel about this hand. It's okay. But I don't have a moon... I took out the Moonblast Cleric, so... I should have actually played the Echoing Cavern first, in case this one gets countered by a Stern Scolding. And then I draw like, you know, black and a white card. So things are just landing. Let's go with the Thalia, since we don't have the combo. So if I play the Thalia, I can delay... No. They can still Toxic Luge if they get to a 4th mana. Which is kind of the thing that I wanted to prevent. Let's go Esper Sentinel here. Or actually, should I want to go Juggernaut Peddler? So they couldn't counter this, but they have a trigger for this thing. Oh, it was a change the equation. Sure. So countering this probably means that opponent doesn't have a board wipe, or... Yeah, maybe? Maybe? So we're gonna start with the Juggernaut Peddler because this can't be countered. So they did have a Tainted Pact, but they have double board wipes. Ouch. Spell Snare as well. I mean, I guess we take out... Taking out the Damnation means that we're safe from Path of Pearl. Tainted Pact doesn't mean that they have a combo yet, but... I don't know. I think we just take out the Damnation. I'm gonna call Soldier. Kinda narrow down the search. No. No, we're just gonna pass here. Since they have a Path of Pearl. I think we might want to just play the Recruiter into Juggernaut again. And then get rid of a Path of Pearl. Or maybe Tainted Pact. a Mockingbird. So we go Dahlia. And then copy this. Get rid of that. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We deal 9 damage. We can always win if we get, you know, a top deck food chain. And like so. GG's. So what do we have left? We have another recruiter. We don't have any copies, right? Yeah, we don't have any copies. That's kind of bad. So we can get Ranger Captain BOs. Can we win with this board? They block the two mana card. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, we have 18 damage. GG's. Alright, so we took a look at this deck today. We actually got to combo off with the food chain a few times, and we also won despite never comboing with the food chain once in that game. I think like 2 times this happened where we didn't draw, like, no, maybe 3 times. Never drawing the food chain and still winning. So this 1-card combo, after resolving the food chain, well, it's not really a 1-card combo, it's like actually a 2-card combo. The thing is, like, you only need one copy of the Recruiter Guard. You actually don't need anything else. I believe a lot of the lists I see online at the moment currently go Recruiter Guard into a Evangel at the moment, and then just make a bunch of creatures. You can do that, but it takes a lot of time, and you also have to pass back the turn. So if opponent just plays a board wipe, you kind of have to rely on your Jarina, things like that. But now, this tech where we get, you know, Recruiter Guard, you know, get multiple recruiters to float the mana into Ranger Captain BOs. The concept is cool. I think this is a little bit too degenerate for Historic. I believe down the line, Food Chain will probably get banned, in my honest opinion, because of the power level, but it takes so much clicks. I don't think it's too healthy. Like, especially if you're holding on to, you know, Fire Magic, for instance, you're just waiting for your opponent to finish the combo. So yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of combo decks that require this much clicking. Great concept, using the Ranger Captain BOs to grab a Mockingbird and a Bushwhacker. I think this is a fantastic idea. Yeah, as for the sideboard, basically we're trying our hardest to not get something like High Nooned. So we have things like Fragment Reality, and Seam Rip also can get rid of High Noon as well, but the problem with the High Noon with Seam Rip is that this is an enchantment, so you have to kind of play it on your turn, which means it's probably going to get countered. So maybe you just get rid of that and have a Fragment Reality. One copy of Haywire Might is nice because you can tutor it with the Recruiter Guard, and you can also get it with the Ranger of Bios. And then we have a Containment Priest. Our deck doesn't get hit by it because we're casting everything with the Food Chain. The only card that gets hit by it is this card, Extraction Specialist. And we have one copy of a Dauntless Dismantler. I've seen a lot of people playing this card, so I decided to try it. But obviously, we didn't really run into any affinity, but it seems good. And then we have 2 copies of Dahlia versus Aura decks, or non-creature spell decks. And we have 2 copies of Mai. You can play this against non-creature spell decks, but this is also really good against like a Storm type decks. And it's also pretty good against Lotus Field combo deck. And then we have another copy of Jurina if opponent's playing a lot of board wipes. And this is also really good against like a Jund, because this can exile target player's graveyard. Then we have 2 copies of Dismember. This is for like, let's say like a Magus comes down or Harbinger. So yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye bye.